Welcome to the Explainer. You know those clunky, multi-line for loops you write all the time? Well, today, we're going to turn them into elegant, powerful, and crazy efficient one-liners. It's time to seriously level up your Python game.
All right, let's just jump right in. On the left, you've got code we've all written a million times. It works, it's fine, but look at the code on the right. That's where we're headed. It's not just cleaner and faster to write, it's faster to run. And honestly, it's what pros expect to see in modern Python code.
So yeah, this transformation is really the heart of what we're talking about today, and it's so much more than just saving a few lines of code. It's really about starting to think in a more Pythonic way.
Okay, I know it might look like some kind of magic trick at first, but I promise you it's not. The syntax is actually super logical once you see it broken down. So let's pull it apart right now so you can start using this stuff immediately.
So what exactly is a list comprehension? Well, the best way to think of it is like a compact recipe. You're giving Python all the instructions it needs to build a brand new list from an old one, all in one single readable line. You're not changing the original, you're creating something new. And what's so cool is that it almost reads like a sentence. First, you have the expression, that's what you want to do to each item. Then you have the loop, for item in iterable, that's where you get the items from. And finally, you can add an optional condition at the end, which is your filter, if the item meets your criteria. What, where, and if. That's it.
All right, quick check-in time. Based on what we've seen so far, what do you think is the main reason Python developers just love these things? What's the biggest win?
Yep, it's B. It all comes down to that concise, readable syntax. While there are other benefits, like speed, the number one reason is just how cleanly and elegantly it expresses the creation of a new list. It's just beautiful code.
Okay, we've got the basics down, but now let's give our comprehensions some superpowers. This is where they go from just being a neat trick to being an absolutely essential part of your toolkit.
Now, this is really important, so pay close attention to where the if is. On the left, the if is at the end. Think of it like a bouncer at a club. It decides which items get into the new list. It's a filter. But on the right, the if-else is at the beginning, before the loop. This isn't a bouncer, it's more like a transformer. It takes every single item and changes it before it goes in. Filter at the end, transform at the beginning. It's a critical difference. And get this. You can even nest for loops right inside the comprehension. How cool is that? Just look at how the order of the loops, for x, then for y, is the exact same in both versions. This is an incredibly slick way to generate complex data, like a grid of coordinates, or all possible pairs between two sets. Okay, time for another little brain teaser. Let's walk through this one. We're looping through numbers from 0 to 9, and the condition is that the square of the number has to be even. So how many numbers are going to make the cut? Take a second and think about it. The answer is 5. So, why 5? Well, here's a little math trick for you. An even number squared is always even. An odd number squared is always odd. So that condition, x2% 2 equals 0, is really just a fancy way of asking, is x an even number? And in the range of 0 to 9, the even numbers are 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. That's 5 numbers total.
So you might be thinking, okay, they look nice, but are they actually any faster? It's a great question, and the answer is a huge, resounding yes. This isn't just about looking pretty, it's about pure, unadulterated speed.
And we're not talking about a small difference here. For large amounts of data, benchmarks consistently show that list comprehensions can be 30 to 40% faster than a traditional for loop with .append. That is a massive performance boost you get for free, just by writing cleaner code. So what's the secret? How are they so much faster? Well, it's all happening under the hood. List comprehensions are highly optimized in C, the language Python itself is written in. Every time your old loop calls .append, there's a tiny bit of overhead. But when you do that a million times, that overhead adds up. A comprehension does it all in one single, lightning-fast operation at a much lower level.
Now, list comprehensions are awesome, but they do have one big potential weakness. They're what we call eager. They build the entire list in memory all at once, and sometimes that eagerness can get you into a whole lot of trouble. I mean, just look at this. You're trying to create a list with 10 billion numbers in it. Your computer is going to try its best, it'll start grabbing all the RAM it can find, and then, boom, memory error, program crashed.
And this isn't some abstract problem. This happens all the time when people try to read huge files or work with massive data sets.
So what's the fix? Well, meet the list comprehension's brilliant memory-saving cousin, the generator expression. This is the hero of our story. It solves the memory problem by being, well, lazy. It doesn't build a list at all. It just creates a tiny little object that knows how to make the values for you, one at a time, but only when you ask for them.
And the difference in syntax is so simple, it's almost funny. Square brackets are eager. They scream, "Give me everything right now," and build the whole list in memory. But parentheses are lazy. They just chill out and say, "Hey, I'll get you the next item whenever you're ready." Square brackets for lists, parentheses for generators. Eager versus lazy. That's the whole game.
So let's lock this in. One uses square brackets, one uses parentheses. What is the absolute fundamental difference in how your code is going to behave?
The answer, of course, is D. That generator evaluates lazily. It waits. And with that, we've just added two incredibly powerful tools to your Python toolkit. So let's do a quick recap so you know exactly which one to grab and when. Here's your new rule of thumb, and it's super simple. If the list you're making can easily fit into your computer's memory, use a list comprehension with the square brackets. It's fast, it's clean, it's great. But the second you start dealing with huge files, infinite data streams, or you're just worried about memory at all, switch to parentheses and use a generator expression. It's the memory-smart choice.
You know, the ability to choose the right tool for the right job is really what marks a great programmer. You now have the knowledge to write Python code that's not just more efficient and professional, but more elegant too. So the only question is, what amazing one-liner are you going to write first?